what's happening? This is your host Tinto. Before we get started on this week's episode, I'd like to give a shout out to everybody that got me coffees, starting with you, my Jew. Thank you for your generous contribution. And your comment there reads, I discovered the podcast when I was going through one of the most exciting but also very difficult times of my life, and the episodes have kept me sane. I'm grateful for all the lessons. Thank you, Tinto. One day I'll share my story. Hey, listen, I'll be more than happy to have you. Let's do it this year, please. And then I got Sarah, 3 generous coffees once again. And your comment there reads, just paying my tithe, and the 2 emojis are little girl dancing. I appreciate this, man. Next up, I got What's Poppin'. Again, thank you so much for coming back. 3 generous coffees, and your comment there reads, cause you know you make my drives bearable, Sha. Hey, you are welcome. And last but not least, the girl with locks. Thank you for your contribution, and your comment there reads, thank you so much for all you do. My ex introduced me to the podcast, and at least I got something good from the relationship. Well, come and tell us your story. If you'd like to support the podcast in a similar way, please head over to www.buymeacoffee.com/feelingstation and give as your spirit leads. Remember, there is nothing too small to support the podcast that you've grown to love. And if I've said that link too quickly, follow us on Instagram. That's Feeling STN, or just search for The Feeling Station will come up. And the link is always available in the bio. It's available in the show notes as we do our stories. And you can also catch us on Twitter, where the same links and information and updates are available. Right, with that out of the way, let's get straight into this week's episode. I must say that the next episode does have themes around sexual abuse and suicide ideation, and if these are really uncomfortable for you, I suggest that you skip this episode. It's a bit of a slow burner, but definitely well worth listening to.
Is that a breakup? I think we have a situation right here on the Feeling Station.
Hello.
Hi, Tinta.
Welcome to the Feeling Station.
Thank you, Tinta, for having me.
For those listening to the podcast for the first time, it's a romantic, family, and friendship breakup podcast showcasing stories that people would like to talk about with a view to give lessons from their experiences. Now, I hope you find today's story entertaining, but more importantly, meaningful. And the podcast, as you already know, is popular for 2 main reasons. The first being I do my best to keep my guests anonymous, so I give them a name to use for the duration of the episode, always from the African continent. Are you ready for your name, my friend?
I am ready.
You are? Okay. So your name comes from Cameroon.
Okay.
Yeah, and your name is Tiombe, which is Tiombe, Tiombe.
Okay.
And what that means is shy girl.
Shy? Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, is that true of you? Are you a shy girl?
Oh, I am.
Liar, you're a liar. That's not true.
That's very true. Okay, until a person knows me.
Yeah.
But
okay. Yeah. And then you're quite shy.
Usually I will. Yeah.
Cool beans. So your name is Tiombe. Hope you remember that. And what are you calling the person you're talking about today?
Oh my God. I tried looking for a name, and I was like, why am I even giving a significant name to this person? Let's just name him Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. so this is about Tiombe and Mike. And the second reason why the podcast is doing really well is there are real life lessons that people are going to take away from your episode. So what would you like people listening to your story today to go away with?
Okay. I have only 3 lessons.
Okay.
The first one being, be kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Live.
Oh.
That live is in capital letters.
Wow. I love that.
They are not going to change.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what's your second lesson?
The second lesson is don't fall in love with the idea of someone.
Mm-hmm.
Fall in love with their reality.
Oh, nice. I really like that one too. And the third one?
The third one is be okay with being alone. Mm-hmm. Learn to find peace in your own company.
Amen to that. A lot of people struggle with that because if they come from big families, they come from big friendship circles, they may want to feel that person real close. So that's a really, really solid lesson. So I'll just play those back. First one up is be
Mhm.
kind to yourself. Leave in caps, right? They are not going to change.
Yeah.
Lesson number
Yeah.
2, don't fall in love with the idea of someone, fall in love with their reality. And then, last but
Mhm.
not least, be okay with being alone. Learn to find peace in your own company.
Mhm.
Cool. So let's get into it then, Tiombe. Where did you meet Mike and why did you decide, yeah, okay, I'll give him a chance at a relationship with me?
Okay. The first time I met Mike, I was in town
Uh-huh.
with a friend, and there was this guy approaching us, and I was like, okay, show me there's a guy who's approaching us. I think he's here for you. And my friend was like, no. Then I didn't really give much attention to him. He was like, hi, and they're like, hi. And then we were just passing by. And I met him, I think the second time in my location. I was coming from a friend's place, and he's like, hey, I saw you the other day, and I tried getting your attention. And I was very much in a hurry that day. And I also didn't give him much attention. And he asked for my number, which I did give him. And I think 2 days passed. There was no call, there was no nothing. And I was like, that. I wanted him to call or anything. But you know, when you gave someone your number, you'd expect. And at that time, I was like, I'm waiting for him to call so that I can block him. You see?
Why?
Yes.
Why?
And I was not interested in him. I was not interested in any relationship, because at that time I was coming out from a relationship that almost broke me. You see, so
why did you give him your number in the first place?
I didn't want him to pester me, so I was like, I'll give it to him, and then I'll block him.
And then he'll pester you about why you blocked him. You still be pestered anyway.
That was my thinking at that time, Tinto, and it used to work for me.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I wouldn't really meet the person again because I was mostly indoors most of the time.
Okay, all right. Okay, I see. Okay,
yes.
Cool.
Yes. And then the third time, he was in my school with the department he was working for. So at that time, I was still doing grade 11. So he was there, and then he saw me. He's like, hey, I've been meaning to call you and I haven't had a chance. And as the event was getting finished, so he stays in the same location that I stay in. So he offered me and my friend a lift. So we got in. Then that evening, he called me. So we're talking.
Out of curiosity, grade 11 makes you how old?
I started school very old, Tinto. So I was 19 years old.
Oh, you're 19. Okay, cool. Got it.
Yes. So, so now he's giving me a call and we are talking, and I was like, I'm not interested. Like, I'm not interested in a relationship and everything like that. But I didn't block him.
Right. Okay.
I didn't block him, and he persuaded me, and he was very consistent with his calls. I started enjoying the calls that I was having with him. And I don't even remember if how I said, okay, we can be an item or something. I don't remember how that happened. But for a month, we've been having these calls, and he's asking me to meet him at his place and things like that. But at that time, I'm staying with my mom, who is very strict. She's very strict. So I don't really have any chances to go see a person, which is one of the reasons I never really wanted to pursue any relationship, because I was not ready to be judged by a guy saying, okay, you can't come see me and all those things.
Okay.
But he was very patient, which is something that kind of attracted me, because he's very patient with me and he understands when I say my mom is very strict, I don't have to take chances. So fast forward to a month later, I go visit him. And
at his house.
Yes, at his house. Oh, one thing that I forgot, he's not originally from my hometown. He's from another city,
Mm-hmm.
and he's here doing his internship.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we're there in his place and we are chatting. I'm nervous, Tinto. I'm sitting at the corner of a bed because I'm like, I think I know what this guy wants. Like, yeah, I'm in his house, so he's gonna want the sexuals.
Right. He's going to want the sexuals. Yeah. I like how you describe that. Before you went to his house, is that something that crossed your mind to say that he may want to have the sexuals with you?
Yes, and just to highlight something, I was sexually abused, like from the young age of like 5 and then 9 years old. That lasted for, I think, until I was 15. So I had that mindset that a guy would want sex and they are entitled to it. It's more like I didn't really have consent. So I had that thing in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So I expected it, not that I was ready or anything. I expected that it was going to happen and he was going to have it. So we are there, and to my surprise, he was very gentle. And that day, he asked me if I'm ready. And I was honest. I was like, no, I am nervous. I don't think I am. So he has set up like all the snacks that I would want. Like they are there, they're sitting. I think I was there for like an hour or two and I had to go, and he was okay. That was another tick for me, you see, and we were okay. And I think in October now, because we met in August, so it's October now, then again at his house, and then we actually had sex. And it was painful because I don't know. I'm just doing it. Not that for me, any emotions. So I'm not really lubricated for the whole thing to a point that I was actually bleeding after.
Ooh.
But yeah. So but we were okay. And I think I liked the fact that when I was in his house, he got me all the nice things, how he babied me, you know. So I liked that. And that's one reason when I kept on going back. I kept on going back into his place. And then there were times like he would meet me before he goes to work, and then just brings me some lunch to carry to school. That was also another thing that I liked.
So help me understand here. You were still going to school at this time, and obviously he was working. You couldn't visit him outside of school time because you had a strict mom. So when and how would you see him? Would you see him on your way to school or from school or during school?
I would see him after school, Tinto. There were times when I would just say to my mom, oh, I had an extra class. So yes, and then I'll just see him. And some weekends when she's not around, maybe she went to a funeral, or I would just say, we have a study group, and then just go and see my friends when I know. Yes.
Where you going to spend time?
Yes, that's how we would meet. And
so if he's giving you lunch like you described, he would give you, how would that work?
Okay, because now we stay in the same location, but like I think like so few houses away. So he knows my route to school, and he was using the department's car sometimes, so he will meet me on my way to school and then give me the lunch.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yes. And then now it's December, so he has to go to his hometown, and I also have to go to my father's hometown. So even then, we are communicating. At that time, there was still Mixit, so that was our main communication channel.
Mhm.
And he would sometimes call because he had like a contract, which was the first time for me to actually know someone who has a contract
Mhm.
for airtime and stuff.
Mhm.
So now it's January, and then I just came back from the holidays, and he just came back, and he was telling me that his contract didn't get renewed.
Mhm.
So his contract is over. His last day it's the 19th of January,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, I was hit. That's okay. He has to go, and in my mind, I was like, I'm never gonna see him again because the city that he was coming from it's very far,
Yeah.
and I'm from a very small town. There was
Right.
no way for me at that time saying that I'll ever meet this guy.
Mhm.
So he promised that he'll keep on contact, he'll keep on calling, and which he did. Call once or twice in a month, and then some chats on Mixit.
Mhm.
So June 2012, I'm doing grade 12 now. I'm at my father's hometown, and then I met a guy there, so I moved on.
Oh,
6 months
okay.
down the line. Yeah.
Did you
Okay.
did you tell Mike that you're moving on, or
No,
how come?
no, I didn't.
How come?
Um, I had no reason. Like really, I had no reason. And because I had that belief in my mind that I was never gonna see this guy. So I was just giving him an opportunity to break up with me whenever he feels like he's ready. And there were times where I even felt that we are not in a relationship because we are not communicating constantly. So I didn't see the need to tell him
Okay.
that I've met someone. So the reason I'm bringing up this someone,
Mm.
he does come back in the story some other time. So now it's we still do communicate there and there. He is still my friend on Facebook, and he still comments on my pictures and everything like that. So now
This is Mike.
there
So Mike
is
still
Mike.
comments on your stuff. Let's give this other guy a name. What's the name of this new guy?
We'll give him Cyril, not for Cyril.
Yeah. Okay.
Cyril.
Yeah. Cyril. Yeah.
Yes. So even with Cyril, it's a long distance relationship because my father's hometown, it's like 2 hours away from my mother's hometown. So I only go there during school holidays.
Okay.
And then, yes. So I don't really feel the pressure that I have 2 boyfriends in my life.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
they play different roles and stuff like that.
And
So
that,
now it's
and at this point, I can assume your mom and dad weren't together because you would go to your dad's during school holidays.
no,
Mm.
no, they were not together.
Okay.
They never married. So
Mm.
yes.
Okay.
So now it's January, and the grade 12 results are coming out, and I've been accepted, I think, in 3 universities. And then I post a status on my Facebook that, what a difficult choice. I don't know where to go. And then I list these universities on my, and then he comments, it's like, no, you should come on this one. And he
Who comments? Mike.
calls me.
Mike comments.
Mike.
Yeah. Okay.
Mike, yes, Mike comments, and it's like, you should come on this one. And then he calls me. He's telling me that the other one, the one he's talking about, is much closer to where he is.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'll decide, because my mind wanted the other one. And I later, I think, end of January, I had to go for the one that he chose because there were some financial difficulties for me to go to the one that I wanted to go to.
Okay.
So now I'm communicating frequently with Mike. because I'm like, he's going to assist me. He's my ticket into that side of the town because I do not know that side. So now the relationship is more like blossoming back again with Mike. And there's also Cyril in the picture we're just, talking. Or actually, we slept together with Cyril in December.
So
for the first time.
So for that first time sleeping with Cyril, how different was it to the first time that you slept with Mike? Because with Mike, remember you said you weren't quite feeling it, and it, it was painful as you've described. With Cyril, was that any different?
With Cyril,
yeah, that first time you did your stuff in December.
It was good. But it was good because I loved Cyril. So in Mike, I didn't really love him. I think I liked him and I liked the things that he was doing for me. Okay. So yes, with Cyril, I loved him. So I enjoyed the sex.
So out of curiosity, right, with Mike, it sounds like you're with him because he was doing stuff for you. Right, he used to buy you stuff, and then you enjoyed that. With Cyril, was he buying you things too? Was he getting you stuff too? He wasn't. Okay, so he's not getting you stuff, but you're emotionally attached. You feel more chemistry and emotions towards Cyril.
Yes. Okay, that is correct. And with Cyril, I think there was more emotions because we spent we met in June when I was coming back to my hometown, and we dated over the phone.
Okay.
For that 6 months. So I think we built that emotional chemistry over the years.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes. And then now it's 2013, I go to this university. So my father is accompanying me to town, and he's like, this is where I'm leaving you. From here, I don't know your direction. And now I've been in communication with Mike, and he told me that, no, you'll sleep at my place, and then I'll accompany you to the university in the morning for you to register and everything like that. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. And now it's a year and 2 months that we are meeting since he left my hometown. And I was there, we had sex. I still didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But
you're still not feeling him sexually like that. Okay.
Yes. And he's my convenience or my ticket to not getting lost, if I can put it like that. And I liked the fact that, again, he loved me. Like he showed the love more than I loved him. So now I'm in.
How do you know? How do you know he loved you?
I knew that question was going to come. I think because of the things that he was doing for me, and what he said, because he kept on expressing himself, how he loved me. With Cyril, he was not a person who expresses himself. So with Mike, he was what's the word that I'm looking for? He was very open with how he was feeling. So that's how I concluded, okay, that Mike loves me. Yes.
And I'm guessing you like it when somebody affirms you, when somebody shows appreciation for you, when somebody's open with you.
Yes.
So say for talking love languages, words of affirmation matter to you, which
they do,
which Cyril wasn't giving, and then at the same time receiving gifts is important to you too. So the love language when it comes to gifts is important to you because that's what Mike was doing. So there are 2 out of 4 things that Mike was doing right, in quotes.
Yes.
Cyril, on the other hand, was. If he wasn't giving you words of affirmation and he wasn't giving you gifts, the other 2 things that matter for love languages are physical touch and quality time. I'm not sure you guys are spending quality time in person. You certainly spend quality time over the phone because you said that's how your emotions grew. So quality
Yes.
time again must be one of your love languages. And then physical touch, I guess, because of the chemistry that was built over the phone, comes naturally. Then that's why you enjoyed
Yes.
sex with him. Okay, right.
Yes. Yes. I would agree with you. So now I'm at the university. I'm done registering, and they tell me that because in my mind I figured that I was just going to register that day and then go back home and then come back after a week or two. But when I got there, it was the last day of registrations, and we had a camper that we had to go to on a Monday. So the registration date is on Friday. So I had to go back home and come back the Sunday. So I went home on Saturday because I slept at his place again. So came back the Sunday, I slept at his place again and then went to camp, which I think it lasted for 2 weeks. And came back to university, sorting out things. So the town for the university, I would say it's 1 hour away from where he is. But now he's kind of persuading me to visit him, and I'm not interested. I seriously didn't want to go see him. I would always make excuses about studies and everything like that. And I think the first time I went when I was there was, I think, around May, since the 4th of February that year. So I went on May to see him, and we were okay. He took me out for dinner. I enjoyed that. And then June, I went back home for holidays in my father's town to meet now with Serial. Everything is fine. I am sleeping, Tinto. Now my phone has WhatsApp. The first time I had WhatsApp. Then I sleeping. When I wake up, Serial is in my phone.
Oh.
And he's busy chatting with Mike.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Was hot. Because, yes, I didn't love Mike like that, but I never wanted to hurt him. And then apparently, I don't know how long they've been chatting. Then now Mike is calling. I think he wanted to make sure if really it's not me, what's happening. And Serial answers the call.
Right.
And yeah, I was like, no, she's with me, and yeah, things like that. And Mike was laughing, and he just hanged up. To ask me why I was the first one who blocked him, because I blocked him.
What?
I blocked Mike after that and went on with my life. Went back to university. I'm cool. Then fast forward to 2014, September.
Yeah.
Mike resurfaces again with a new number. And he's like, "Hi, it's me." Oh, I only blocked him on WhatsApp. I didn't block his calls. But I assume he thought that I also blocked the phone calls. So now he's calling. He's like, "Oh, you didn't block me." I'm like, "No, you still blocked on WhatsApp." He's like, "Oh, I thought that you blocked me ever." I was like, "No, I only blocked you on WhatsApp." But now we are talking, and the conversation is going. Things with Serial, they are not good. They are
Why
not
were they not good?
Serial is apparently I was the other girl.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness! And how
did you find out you were the other girl?
I posted a picture of my, like, the relationship that I had with Serial. It was also very public on Facebook. Like, he would tag me, he would post, he would comment, make sure that he is known.
Did he start doing this after he had a chat with Mike?
The call. Yes, he started doing that after the call with Mike.
Why did he choose to stay with you?
I don't know, because even after the call that he had with Mike, he never said anything. He was like, "Oh, that's what you are doing at varsity." And I was like, "No, I met this guy in my hometown." And then I left it there. He was like, "Oh, I hope you're never going to see him again." I was like, "Okay." And then that was it. And after he started like bombing my Facebook and things like that. And at the university, there is his nephew there who would like randomly knock in my door. So I would say bodyguards in a way.
Wow.
So how yeah. So how I found out that there is another girl, it was on Facebook. So I posted a picture of mine, and Serial's cousin sister commented, and then this girl is like, "Hi, Tiombe, I thought that you were Serial's cousin sister." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "No, Serial said you are his cousin." And I was like, "What's happening? Are we friends with this lady, or what's happening?" "We are not friends," but she commented because Serial tagged himself on my picture.
Right.
So that's how she commented.
Okay.
And yeah, and on the inbox, Serial is not there on the wall. He's busy on my inbox. Please don't reply and things like that. So that's how I found out. And I was like, this guy is not someone who can protect me, because now I feel like he's just like exposing me to everything like this, and then keeps on telling me that I must not respond. So I think that's how I kind of lost the feelings for him. And at that time, Mike is resurfacing again. And
okay.
Yes.
So
and now,
so since you found out that you were the other chick, again, why didn't you leave Cyril?
I loved him.
So you were okay being the other chick?
I was not okay. He said that they are no longer together. They were together, but he broke up with the lady, I think, 4 months back. So now she's a bitter ex. That's what.
Oh, okay. So that's what he said, and that's what you chose to believe.
That's what I believe. Yes.
Because you were in love with him.
Yes, that's correct. And now, again, Serial is drinking heavily, which is something that I don't like. Well, one thing that I can also note, Mike does not drink. So I think I started to do at least what I like about this one, what I like about that one. Yes. I didn't break up with Cyril. I just stopped communicating with him. And then that was it. Then now.
Why did you stop communicating with him? Is it because of the drinking? Because you've literally just told me you tried to stay because you loved him.
Yes, it was.
And then suddenly you just stopped communicating. Well, what happened?
I think it was the drinking mostly, and now the communication is not as before. And so the communication for me was reassuring, because we are in a long distance relationship. So when there is no communication, when I call you at night, you are not responding to my calls, only call me in the morning and give me excuses. So that was what was happening. And I later found out that he impregnated someone.
Hey.
So.
And it wasn't the girl who communicated with you on Facebook?
No.
It was a different one.
He said it was a one-night stand, and that pissed me off, Tinto. because you cannot be meeting with someone new and you just live with them without protection.
Mm.
So that just wiped away my feelings for him.
Mm-hmm.
Then I completely focused on Mike. And I think I actually did tell him that it's not working, serial. But he never took that breakup seriously, because he would call me when he feels like he wants to call me.
And you would pick up, right?
Yeah.
So how serious were you?
Not really serious. I think I was hoping that the pregnancy thing was not true, because I heard it from a cousin, and then I asked him and he was like, oh yeah, I was going to tell you about it, but I'm not sure if the child is mine because it was this one night stand. So I think those were one of the reasons I kept on answering his calls. And because I think I did still have feelings for him, and I was still holding on in those bit of feelings. But now Mike is closer. So now there's that quality time, and then there's a physical touch, and then there's a sex, which was getting better now with Mike.
So previously, Mike's two gifts were words of affirmation, which were important to you, and receiving gifts. Mm-hmm. But physical touch wasn't really a thing because you didn't have emotions for him. Mm-hmm. Did you now start developing emotions for him because you now knew that Cyril is a heavy drinker and a womanizer?
No, I don't think it's because of Cyril. It was more because of now some of the things that he was saying, how he'd be like, now that I'll be done with my with my studies and we can decide where we want to. So it was more like solidifying the future now with this guy. And now I started to see myself with him in a way. I could say that.
Because of what he now wanted for the both of you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think now we are in November 2014. And I'm visiting him again. We go out. And Tinto, he kneels down. He's proposing, and I was like, no. I left him there. I was shaking, I was shocked, and then I just went outside.
Were there people around?
Yes. There were people, and now people were starting to look on us, like giving us, it was too much. And I was angry at him because he knows that I do not like being center of attention. And I don't think we really discussed it into that extent, the marriage thing. I had my plan to finish with my studies. Then I can think about the whole family thing. So it felt like he was just like trying to trap me in a way. So
would it have been, but would your response have been different if it came from Cyril before you discovered he had a main chick and he had made someone else pregnant? Like, let's assume he hadn't made someone pregnant and you were the main chick and he didn't drink and he proposed to you. Do you think you'd have said
Definitely.
Yes to Cyril at the same time?
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing, with Cyril, I imagined him to be my baby's first child.
Yeah.
And now he's made someone allegedly pregnant.
Pregnant, yeah. So imagine Cyril as being the father to your first child.
Yes.
So just off the back of that, what you've said then is not really true. You said that your plan was to finish school, get all of these things ready before you think about having a family. But if Cyril asked you that question at the same time, you'd have said yes. This has nothing to do with school. It's got everything to do with Mike.
that was my plan with Mike, to first finish school and things like that, more like get to know him more. And mind you, he's from a city that I've never been in. With Cyril, it was safer because I know where he comes from. I know his home and I loved him. So, yeah.
So basically, you said no to Mike, maybe because you didn't trust him, and two, you didn't feel you knew him enough. You just needed more time with him to know what he was about.
Yes. And the other thing, Tinto, we just rekindled again. So it was too soon for me.
How long had it been since you rekindled at this point?
We rekindled in September. So now it was November. So it's like 2 months.
2 months, okay.
Yes. Yes. But after that, he comes out, he's like, oh, I am so sorry. I understand that you don't like eyes. But I do want us. And I was like, no, we need to sit down and discuss these things, you see. And he was like, oh, okay, it's fine. We will revisit this and then talk about it. So now, 2015, I moved from the town that I was in to another town, which was an hour and a half away from him. And in May, he decides to come and stay in the town that I was in. And I was very happy that I'm like, oh yeah, finally, I'm done with the long distance. Now I have learned to love him. And yeah, I was now happy with him.
So what did you love about him at this point now that you learned to love about him? What did you love about him?
He gave me the security.
How?
I would say. The fact that he was willing to change towns for me. Yes. And how, again, he reassures me physically and through words. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then I think a week before he moves, I have a dream that he has a son. And I tell him about this dream. I'm like, yeah, I had a dream as if you have a son who is 4 years or 5, somewhere there. It's like, oh yeah, I thought I told you about that. I do have a son. His name, I would say, is Chris. And I'm like, oh, how old? And then it's like, no, I had him way before I met you. So the child was born in 2009.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you never told me about him. He's like, no, I thought I did. Okay, fine. We move on from that. Now
Was that a problem for you, discovering that he has a child that you knew nothing about?
The problem was me not knowing about it. I didn't have a problem with him having a child. And the fact that I think the other thing that was not a problem was he had this child way before he met me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what was the relationship with the child's mother?
They were no longer together. The child stays at his home.
Oh.
Yes.
At his home with his parents?
With his cousins and his father. Yeah, with his cousins and his father.
Okay, where was his mother?
They were not together, but at that time, I really didn't know much about his mother because he was always talking about his father. So I assumed that they were not in touch or something like that. And I never...
And this child of his is it a boy or it's a girl?
It's a boy.
Okay.
And then now he's moved into the same town. We are looking for the flat and making sure that he has all the furniture and everything like that. And it's just like a walk away from my varsity residence. So it was, we had, I could say what I always said, we had a modern flat and set because I might spend a week at his place and then maybe a weekend at my place. So it was something like that. It was nice. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
Then fast forward to September 2015. I'm busy with my exams at that time, and he understood that when I'm writing the exams, I write for the whole week. So for 2 weeks, I'll be busy, like locked in. I won't be able to come see him.
Yeah.
And then it was going to be a holiday on a Friday, a public holiday. So I text him and like, I miss you, which was Thursday night. I'm like, I miss you, and I'm thinking of coming to see you Friday, and then Saturday I'll come back so that I focus on my studies before I write my exam on Monday. And I tell him which snacks to buy and everything. He was okay. Tinto, I think around 12 p.m. during the day, a friend of mine like, hey, before you go, can we just go to town and everything? I was like, oh, okay, go to town. And then I call him. Because after we were done with whatever we would be doing in town, I'll just catch a taxi to his place and then my friend will go back. He's not answering my calls.
Mike is not answering your calls. And you just wanted to tell him that you're leaving town. You know you're doing something.
Yes, exactly. And then he's not answering my calls. He is not responding on my text. And his last thing was in the morning. You see? And I'm like, yeah, this is very strange. I don't know what is happening, but something is happening. Mind you, Tinto, in all these years, we've never argued. Besides, even that time when Cyril answered the calls, we never fought about that. Even when I blocked him, like we've never fought. But that day, I'm like, something is happening. Like something is not right here. And then my friend is like, you can get on a taxi and then go. You have a key. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm not comfortable doing that. But we'll see. Okay. Fast forward, Tinto. He doesn't respond to my calls until 4 p.m. in the evening. It's like, hey, I wasn't sure that you were supposed to come today. I thought you are coming tomorrow. I'm out with my cousin. We are drinking at this club. That's why I didn't hear. And I'm like, since when did you drink now? Because I don't know you as a person who drinks.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, my cousin was here. And then I decided to just go with him. It's not like I am drinking. I didn't buy his story. I was like, no, it's fine. I'm no longer coming. And that day, the friend of ours passed away.
Oh, no.
And yes. And now everyone at our residence is crying because now I'm like, okay, the only person I can talk to besides my friends, because we are all going through the same pain, it's Mike. So let me call Mike. I'm calling Mike Tinto. He's not answering. And then he calls me back after 10 minutes. I could hear the echo. He's in a bathroom.
Right. Okay.
And I'm like, what do you want in a bathroom? He's like, no, I was here. And I'm like, if you were in a bathroom, why didn't you answer? I didn't get the response. He was like, I'm being traumatic. And I was like, okay, sharp. And then I hanged up because I was not in a mood to argue. And the Saturday, he was supposed to go to his hometown. That's why, again, I was supposed to come back the Saturday.
Yeah.
So he went to his hometown, wake up in the morning.
So before that, let's just talk about that bathroom moment. So you could tell that he's in a bathroom. I want to know what went through your mind. Tell me what you thought.
I knew, Tinto, that something was happening. I knew that something was not right. Like he was lying. I knew that he was cheating. It didn't make sense that he'll answer my call in the bathroom 10 minutes after I called him, and he made the excuse that he was in the club and he doesn't drink. Yes.
So at this point, you could have been direct and told him that I think you're cheating on me.
I was at that point. I was still heartbroken of my friend's passing, and I'm not a person who's confrontational, and we've never argued or fought with this guy, so I didn't know how to approach him with this.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's in the morning, and he's normally the first person to wake me up. There's no call. This guy calls me at 12 p.m. He's like, oh yeah, I just arrived home. So he went to his hometown, didn't update me that I'm on the text or anything. Then he's calling me. He's like, oh, I can feel some coldness in me and everything, but we'll discuss everything when I come back. Okay. And then he comes back on a Sunday. He's like, no, let's come. And then we talk. And then I go to his place, and then he convinces me that whatever that I thought I knew was a lie, and I believed him. And then we slept. In the morning, I am cleaning the bedroom. On top of the washing basket, there are clothes that are there. So I'm removing these clothes, and then I'm speaking with him. I'm like, I've always told you that the clothes go inside, not on top of the lid. Tinto, there's a lace panty that's wet. At that time, I felt my knees being weak, and I'm like, and then what's this? The guy said it was mine.
Okay. How would it have been yours? Let's just go through that, because let's assume he was convinced that it was yours. What things about the panty would make it not yours?
It was a lace panty, Tinto, and at that time I was not wearing any lace panties.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, the size might have been, yes, it was mine, but it is not mine. Yeah. And I think he realized 10 minutes later, because after he said it was mine, I just laughed and kept quiet. And he realized 10 minutes later that, oh my God, it's not. And I could see in his face. Then he was nervous. He was doing things. And we were getting ready for our date. We went on our date, and then we came back.
So explain something to me, Tiombe, right? You've just found out that there's a wet panty. Let's assume it had just been washed, right? In the laundry basket. It's a lace. It's clearly not yours. How are you still able to go for a date? Was this not playing on your mind during the date? How was the date? Was the date fun? Was it nice? Was it good? Was it enjoyable?
No, it was not good.
So that's what I would have expected, that the date would not be good. And if I was in that scenario, I very likely would have said, no, I don't want to have this date, because I wouldn't be feeling good. So why did you decide to go on the date and then not enjoy the date?
I didn't know how to ask him how to deal with that situation. I was still shocked. Yeah, I was still shocked, and I was still processing the whole thing. Yes, and I didn't want to change my plans, because yeah, we had plans, and I would still go on with the plans. So we came back, we continued with the day, and then we were sleeping. He was snoring. That's when my anger came back.
Right, okay.
And then I woke him up, and then we talked about the panty, and he was like...
By the way, your anger came back because the man was busy snoring when there were problems in the house.
Yes. How can he sleep peacefully when there are problems? No, you can't be sleeping when there are problems.
Right. Okay.
Yes, and then he confesses. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's a girl that I met. Because now it's September. It's like it's a girl that I met in August. Yes, she stays here. It was her first time coming here that Friday." Remember the Friday where I couldn't get hold of him? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, then that means it's still new. So there's no problem in you ending the relationship if you want to end the relationship, or you can end the relationship with me. It's your choice. And he's like, no, I'll end that one. And I was like, are you sure that you guys met in August? He's like, yes. Okay. I believed him, Tinto. We moved on. Fast forward to, actually, yesterday it was his birthday. Fast forward to October the 14th, and then I'm waking up. I'm scrolling on Facebook, and I see a post from this girl, let's say Precious, and Precious is wishing Mike a happy birthday, and it's like, hi, happy birthday, Mike. Oh, I hope you have a lovely day, my love. And I saw that name, and Tinto, I went through his post, Mike's post, until 2014. The girl was there. They've been friends since 2014 because the girl has been constantly liking every
His
post,
stuff.
every picture.
Yeah.
That Mike, exactly. And I asked him because I knew the name. Yeah, the name because of the argument because of the painting. He told me her name and everything like that. And I come back to him. I'm like, you said you met with Precious in August, but the posts go back in 2014. I was like, oh yes, a friend of ours introduced us back there. I'm like, so you guys have been dating since then? It's like, no, we've just been friends and everything. We started now. I'm like, oh, so you never broke up with her in September because now it's October and she's wishing you a happy birthday, my love, on your wall.
Right.
Like, no, I'll end it. I don't want to lose you, and all those things, giving me all those reassurances and things like that. I forgave him, Tinto. That's the second time I am forgiving him. And we are okay. We are going on. Fast forward December 2015.
Sorry, but why did you forgive him?
Because he said he loves me and he doesn't want to lose me, so he'll break up with the girl.
But he was doing things that would lose you. It doesn't add up. If I don't want to go to jail, I won't steal. If I don't want to go to jail, I won't kill someone. If I don't want to go to jail, I just won't do things that would make me go to jail. Yeah?
Yeah.
He was doing things that would lose you. Do you get what I mean? He's stepping out, he's cheating, he's drinking now, and you said that he didn't drink. So he's doing...
He was not drinking, he was lying.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay,
he was not in the club. He was with that girl.
Okay, so he's doing things that would lose you. His behavior, is pointing towards things that would lose you. And then you forgive him just because he said he didn't want to lose you by doing things that would lose you. Make that make sense.
I understand you now, Tinto, but at that time, I believed that he was going to change. I believed him that he truly does love me. He will leave that girl. Okay. I named this girl Precious because she's in the story. She's not leaving. She's not going anywhere.
I was just about to ask, did Precious leave? But I didn't want to preempt. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I took you off track there, but continue.
No problem. So now it's December, and then we are playing a game on his phone, and then I see a message saying, "Hi, babe," and you know what he did, Tinto? He renamed Precious's number using her surname.
As they do, yes.
Yeah. And I was very pissed. I'm like, this guy thinks I'm stupid because Precious's surname is there on her Facebook profile. So I know the surname. And he's like, no, she contacted me again and things like that. I'll block her. I believed him. We are okay again. Fast forward, we are in 2016 now. And I have a dream, Tinto, that he is choosing someone else over me. And I tell him about this dream. He's like, never, I would never choose anyone more than you. And at this point, after the first cheating scene, I don't trust him. I'm no longer kind towards him. Like once he does something, I am easily annoyed. And now I kind of enforced a relationship with his mother, between him and his mother. Now they are communicating. The mother knows about me. And whenever we fight, he always tells his mother that I'm the one who's causing the fights. So,
but why did you get him connected with his mum when he didn't have a connection with her like that? Well, he didn't talk about her much, but why did you get that connection solidified?
I think it's because of the relationship that I also have with my own mother. I don't know if it really does relate, because I felt, okay, he was complaining that his mother was never there in their lives and she left them with his father and everything like that. So I believed that I could fix it. And I did. I don't know why, but I just wanted him to have both his parents around. And I felt he needed his mother in his life.
Why?
I believe being with a female parent or son, it makes you more kinder. Not that he was not kind, he was, but I believe it would just like make him much softer and feel loved more. I don't know. Because
I'm getting a selfish approach to this because and this is just my thinking as I'm listening to what you're saying. You want to make the man softer. Ultimately, so that he's kinder to you as an individual, be more considerate of your emotions and your feelings before he decides to do any cheating things which could hurt you.
Yeah.
So this wasn't really about him getting close to his mum. It's him becoming softer so that he could love you better and hurt you less.
I felt it was a two-way thing. We were both winning.
Okay.
we were both winning, Tinto.
Right.
Yes. So now we are in 2016, and then I just had this dream. I told him about this dream, and he reassures me that no, that would never happen, and things like that. Okay. A week later, after that dream, Tinto, we were out with the girls for the weekend, and it was like, something is going to happen in that house, and I am going there. And I went, Tinto. I didn't tell him that I was gonna go there. I think, no, it was on a Friday night, and I didn't tell him that I was gonna go there. And I went, and then I did whatever that I wanted to do around the house. Then it was time for him knocking off from work. He calls me. He was lovey-dovey. He was so loving, Tinto. And I was like, yeah, something is not right here. And he's asking me where I am. I'm like, no, I'm in my friend's room. We are watching a movie and things like that. He's like, oh, okay, I'll call you when I get home. I'm like, okay. So when I knew that he was approaching, I switched off the lights and removed the key from the door, closed the windows as he closed. And then I just sat there in the dark. I could hear his footsteps coming. He opens the door, switches on the light. There's a girl behind her.
Wow.
Behind him. It's Precious.
Oh my days.
And he's like, no, turn back. She's in. And then he closes the door and then he leaves with Precious. I was shocked, Tinto, for a good 10 minutes. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. And then I called him. It didn't answer. I called his mom. I've never called his mother. I always spoke with his mother when they were on a call, but I never called. She had my number. I had her number because I would sometimes send her money when he sends me to send the money. So I called her that day. I'm like, please make it make sense to me. Who is the craziest one? Because your son just did this and this and this. And then the mother called him. He says to the mother, no, this is my cousin's girlfriend. The mother's like, if it's your cousin's girlfriend, why are you not introducing them? He comes back, Tinto, after 2 hours, and he is so defensive. Why did I call his mother? He's fighting me. Why did I call his mother? And like we were fighting and stuff. And I was just looking at him. I didn't answer him. I just wanted to not respond to this. And I slept. I left him there talking because I was like, I do not have energy for this. And he apologized. I stayed. I forgave him again.
Why?
At this time, now he has introduced or kind of painted this picture that I'll never be happy without him. But I didn't know why I believed him because I was not happy with him. But I never envisioned my life without him now. So I stayed. And I've been with this person for like 4 or 5 years now. And he seems like my place of comfort, but he's hurting me. Now I know. At that time, like the one that was more clear was that I'll be miserable without him. Yes, and then
I'm just listening, but something is becoming a bit prominent here.
Okay.
So Cyril was a heavy drinker. He had a main chick, and you were the other chick, and you had a one night stand. There was a pregnancy scare. You decided to stay. Now with Mike, you've discovered similar thing. That there is another woman in the picture, and there's a possibility that you are the other chick. And on 2 occasions, you've decided to stay. And then when I asked you the first time around why you didn't break up with Cyril, when you found out this, you said you waited for him to break up with you. That's one. And then also when Mike's contract finished and he moved out of town and there was some distance going, I asked again, why you didn't break up? And you said you would have waited for him to break up with you. Now that you look back, why do you feel you had difficulty being the one to break up with any of the boys? Because they gave you all the reasons to, but you chose not to. Why do you think that was?
Yeah. I think I just held on to. Yeah. I think it's because I believed that if I officially break up with either one of them, I'll be alone, and I didn't want it.
You didn't want to be alone?
Nah.
What was it about being alone that you were afraid of?
At that growing up, Tinto, I had siblings. I have siblings, but we are not close. We were not close. And I think there's something with my family where there's no loving out loud. So I think I believed that getting that glimpse of validation or that glimpse of love from these boys kind of filled me in. So breaking up with them, I was going to lose it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is becoming more alive but when you look at the 4 love languages, which are words of affirmation and receiving gifts, those 2 you were getting from Mike.
Yes.
And physical touch and quality time you're getting both from Cyril. And for a lot of people, you don't really find people that have all of the love languages as relatable to them. Some are stronger than the other, but I can't tell which one is stronger because it feels like you're getting equal amounts of all of them from 2 different places. So, for instance, for me, quality time and physical touch are important, and acts of service. In fact, acts of service is right up there. It's right at the top. And then quality time, and then physical touch, and then the rest, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So by what you've just described, your desire to have words that make you feel wanted, appreciated, relevant were coming. And you said that within your family, you didn't quite say you loved each other, and you didn't feel the love that way. And sometimes that love is expressed through hugs within the family. Like I cuddle my son every 30 seconds. Right. And just last week I made him promise that when he turns a teenager, he won't run away when I try and and hug him. And we always make a joke of that. Right. And then quality time. Obviously, we spend a lot of quality time. I enjoy quality time. And you were getting quality time from the guys, from the boys. So I'm starting to see how it was difficult for you to have finality because you felt it would take you to a place where you didn't enjoy being, because you didn't get that from your family either.
Yeah.
So you had a deeper longing for something that was potentially unrelated to these guys because it just wasn't present in your life at the time. And you started to get a glimpse of it and you liked it and you didn't want to lose it.
Yes.
Okay, it's making sense. And also maybe this explains why you had difficulty telling Mike that I found a panty, I no longer want to be with you. Or telling him that, oh, I've just seen you walking with a girl, I don't want to have to do with anything of this, because it would give you that finality you're avoiding.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes. And so that all this cheating, Tinto, happened 2016, or in 2016, the most important one, after he went out with this girl, he came back, he apologized after he was very defensive and trying to shift the blame the following day. And he's like, you know what, how about we go home, to his home, like introducing me. Now that is another, I think, an idea of saying that, okay, I want you in my life because now I'm introducing you to my other family. Besides talking to my mom over the phone, I need you to meet my dad and my aunts.
Did you feel he was being genuine about that? Because that sounds a bit manipulative.
Not really. Not really. At that time, I was just... And I think in 2016 now, Tinto, I was just, like waiting for that time where I no longer have feelings for this guy, where I no longer, all the nice memories have died. I think I was just like in that phase where I was waiting for that. And then now we went to his home, and then everyone was happy to see me, and then we were okay. And until one of his aunts was like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Ready for what?" She's like, "No, because Mike asked us to prepare things for you, so he's taking you as his wife." I was like, no, that can't happen. And I told the aunt the truth, that we've been fighting with this guy, and I feel like him wanting me as a wife, it's a way of him just trapping me down. Yeah. And this event was going to happen the following day, and I didn't know about it, thanks to his aunt that told me. And then the aunt was like, okay, if it's like that, it's not going to happen. And then he calls Mike and sits us down, and then she talks to us, and Mike is like, no, that was not the plan. The aunt was like, okay, even if that was not the plan, she's still in school. Wait for her. If you truly love her, you will wait for her. Okay. And then we moved to 2017, Tinto. There's a new one in the picture. Okay, I think
Hey,
at that time, I thought she was in.
how long was this relationship now? How many years has it been?
Wait a minute. I would say that 2017, it was 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And now, again, it's that feeling when it's like something is happening in that house, let me go. I went to the house. When I get there, there's a lady who's much older, more like his age, because Mike was 10 years older than me.
Wow.
So it's they're in the same age with this lady. And because I could hear that the TV was playing, so I knocked instead of using my own key.
So
I knocked and
hang on. I always like a bit of context. When you met him, you were 19, so he was 29 when you met.
yeah,
And this is 7 years down the line, so he's now 36.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So at this point in time, Tinto, I knocked, she opens for me. And I think she was expecting Mike, and then she sees me. And I greet her, and then I go in. Like I left her standing there in the door, and then I went in. And I'm like, where's Mike? She's like, I think she's still at work. I'm like, oh, okay. When I'm getting in the bedroom, I can see like a very pink sleepover bag, which is this lady. And now there were pictures of me all around his house, but now the pictures are not, there's like only two. The rest are not there. Yeah. And I sit down and I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Tiombe. She's like, oh, hi, I am Nelly, Mike's girlfriend for 8 years.
Ah! What?
And I'm like, oh, okay. In your 8 years, you just have to subtract one.
Wow.
And I sat there and I called Mike. And I was like, no, I'm at the house.
Yeah.
When are you coming back from work? He was very calm, Tinto. He was very excited that I'm saying that I'm there and you, I've missed you and everything. Okay. I hang up on the call. Nelly calls Mike. She's like, we are here as your girls. Immediately after Nelly hanged up on the call, Mike calls me. He's very nervous. He's very nervous. No, please wait for me. I'll come. I'll explain. He comes in, and then they are busy. They're fighting with Nelly, and then I'm sitting in the couch watching them. They are busy arguing, fighting, and Mike is like, "No, Nelly, you always knew about Tiombe, and you said you understand." And Nelly is sitting there saying nothing. After they were done arguing, Tinto, I took my bag and I was like, okay, I think I got everything that I wanted to hear. I am done. I left. When I was leaving, Mike is busy trying to pull me. Everyone in the flat is looking at us. And I'm like, I don't like this. So just let me go. And the time now, Tinto, it's around 10 p.m. And he's like, how are you going to go? And I'm like, did you see how beautiful I am? I'll just stand there in the street. There'll be a car that's going to take me back to my place. And I went out of the yard. I left them there because now Nelly also came and joined us and she was arguing there. And I was like, I'm going to leave you with your drama. I left. When I got to my place, Tinto, Mike was there.
Mike was there. He had made it already. Like he got there ahead of you.
Yes.
Wow.
And I'm like, how? I was like, no, I don't want to lose you and things like that. And I did not have the energy to argue, Tinto. We slept. In the morning, it was going to be all these things, Tinto. I always find them out maybe a week before his birthday. Or like before his birthday celebration, I'll always find if there's things. And now I'm like, go to your place and see if everything is fine, because you left that lady there. It goes back. The wardrobe is empty, Tinto. The only clothes that are in the wardrobe are mine. Okay, fine. His mom now is involved, and Nelly's mom is also involved, because Nelly's mom, it was a lot. Nelly's mom is calling him nonstop, swearing at him how he promised her daughter and everything like that. Again, Tinto, I stayed. I stayed. And no, I have an excuse for this one, Tinto. I truly do. It was in October, right? And at that time, my father is sick. And within a week after all that drama, my father passed away.
Oh, no.
So he was there as my comforter. Yes. And then now we went and buried my father. Was there as my support system and everything. So because of that funeral, it disturbed me. I failed my final year. It's 2018. My friends are graduating. I have to repeat. And now my financial aid couldn't give me any finance, and I couldn't get a residence from the university, and I can't afford to rent. I thought, Tinto, I was done with Mike, but now we are fixing things. And he's like, no, you are welcome. You can come stay with me. And I'm like to him, I'll stay because now I'm only doing one module. I'll look for a job. Once I get a job, I'll be able to afford my own rent. Then I'll leave. And we continue how we were. I was like, no, okay, it's fine. And then now we are living together. It's somewhere around March. When I'm looking at him, Tinto, it's like I'm seeing a dead person. Like, and I tell him about this. I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, there's something that's not right with you. And we are praying about this and everything. He's like, oh yeah, there's something that I need to tell you. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm listening. Tinto, he has 2 other kids that were conceived while he was still in a relationship with me, with different mothers.
Yeah.
Oh, I was tired.
Wow.
I didn't even argue with him. I was like, okay.
So how old were these kids?
The other one was 2. The other one was 1.
What?
2 different women.
So you had them 5 and 6 years into your relationship with him.
Yeah.
Mad. And these 2 women are neither Nelly nor are they Precious?
No.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
What church did this guy go to?
He didn't really go to church. I kind of forced him at times to go with me to church. Okay. I forgot the name.
Yeah, I'm only asking because there's a certain church where if they don't drink or smoke, their problem is women. So I was just wondering whether that would have been that same judge. Okay, go on.
Yeah. And with that one, Tinto, I started to realize myself something that I'm no longer sad whenever I find out these things about him.
Yeah, no, you weren't, because your reaction when he was dealing with Nelly, you were just chilling in the room at the back. You weren't bothered.
Yeah. So then I find a job in May, and then I move out and stay closer to work. Which we had an arrangement now because I was working weekends. He was not working weekends. And alternating weeks, I was like, no, if I'm off, then I'll come over. Then when I am working, you are coming over to mine. So that kind of worked for us. Fast forward again, October, my finding out month. He's in my place, and I had a thing planned for his birthday. we are there, and I was in the process of losing weight. And I got this dress that I was going to use as my skate. So I'm asking him to take a picture of me so that I can compare the differences. And I'm giving him my phone. He's refusing to take a picture with my phone. We are using similar phones, Tinto. I don't know why he was refusing with his, and then with mine, like to take a picture with mine. Okay, fine. I allow him. We take with his, and he gives me the phone. One thing that you should note, Tinto, in all this 7 years, I've never held his phone. Held his phone or go through pictures, whatever. He'll be showing me on his pictures. He'll be like, more like he knows that he took like 3 pictures. He'll be like 1, 2, 3. And then when we are done, he's switching off the phone and stuff like that.
Right.
That day, he gave me the phone and he was busy getting dressed on the other side. And I'm scrolling, Tinto. I see a picture of him and Precious on his bed.
Again.
And and now he realizes that I saw the picture. He comes and I'm like, please make sure that you are not going to lie to me.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you're not going to lie.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'll explain. She reached out to me. This is the picture that she sent to me as a throwback kind of a thing. And
as a throwback, like she sent it to me as a throwback picture.
Yes. And I'm like to him, I told you to never lie to me. One, I'm on your camera folder. I'm not on a WhatsApp folder. This picture was taken with your phone. Secondly, the bedding that's in top of the bed, it's the bedding that I left now in June, July, when I left your place. So this is this year. And I was like, I'm done.
Wow.
That's fine. Let's go. And then we continued with the day and everything. And he spent the night. I was supposed to go that night, but he didn't. He spent the night. And I was not hurt, Tinto. I was not. And the day went on. Fast forward to Wednesday. He's calling me. He's like, hey, can I please have some transport money? That pissed me off. That was the reason for us to break up. I was like, actually, I'm done with you because you have all these other women that you give money to, but you come and ask the money from me.
Yeah,
I'm done with you. Let's break up. And in all these 4 years that he has been doing this to me, I've never suggested a breakup with him.
Yeah.
That was the first day when I was like, I'm done. We are breaking up. He was like, no, we'll talk about this. And then I hanged up my phone. I was done, Tinto. I was done with him. And for 2 weeks after that, he would camp outside my gate every morning. He'll be there trying to get me to talk to him, and I was not budging. Fast forward to the end of October, it was after writing my exam, and then I'm with friends, and then we are at the way stalls that were done by the Department of Health, where you would go in for checkup and things like that, which was something that I've been doing since I joined the university 2013. Like every 3 months, I'll take the HIV test and everything like that. So, and then there'll be like some gifts and things like that, maybe blankets or vouchers for KFC. So I'm going in as usual. And then I sat down, I get tested, Tinto. The results come back reactive. I am HIV positive. And I sat there and I was like, oh, okay. The nurse was very shocked because she was like, why are you not reacting? And I was like, no, it's fine. And I left, or the nurse suggested that I go to the main clinic the following day so that I can start with treatment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then go outside, meet with the friends. I'm okay. And get to my place, I think I started feeling the emotions, the everything. Mind you, it's 3 weeks now I've broken up with Mike.
Mm.
And then I'm washing. It was raining, Tinto, but I took out the blankets. I was washing them outside.
Mm.
When I was done, I took the phone and I called him. And he was very excited to hear my voice. And I'm like, I need to see you now.
Mm.
It's like, I'm still at work. I'm like, I know, but I need to see you now. And I knew how his work was. It was even difficult for him to answer the phone while while he was at work. And it was worse now to just leave work and come and see me, but he did. And because of the way the flat that was in, I knew that I used to chat with my neighbor in my house. I knew that whatever that can happen here, the next door person can hear. So we went out, took a walk, and I told him, Tinto, he's like, oh no, that won't never make me love you any less. I'll still love you. He's shifting the blame, Tinto.
Wait a minute. Is shifting the blame on you for what?
So according to him, I am the one who is HIV positive. He is not HIV positive. I am. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, whatever you are saying, that's nonsense. Because and since the last time I had another person was 2014.
Yeah.
Ever since, I've never.
And that other person was Cyril, right?
Yes, the other person was Cyril. And ever since then, you've been the only person. And ever since then, you always knew. I would always tell him, I went to school and then I got tested. Here are my results. When are you getting tested? And he'll always make an excuse. Yeah. And that just made things worse for me because this guy just infected me and he's blaming me. He's like, it was worse. And he's like, no, you see, now we can be together. I'm like, no, I can't.
Well, what he's saying, we can be together. He's saying we can be together because now we are both HIV positive. Is that what he was saying? But what
I think that's what he was saying.
Oh shit!
I think that's what he was saying. And I was like, no, I can't. But I think for another month, I continued speaking to him, trying to make sure that he gets his treatment and stuff. He goes in and he gets the treatment, and I'm done with him. And fast forward to 2022, he calls me in June. He's like, hey, how are you doing? I just wanted to check up on you and everything. I was like, I'm good and stuff. I think because I think it was in May, in June when he called me. So we are in July. He's now texting me on WhatsApp. He's like, hey, that one day, he's like, I still love you. I was like, don't do that. Because I had to forgive you without you even asking for forgiveness. I had to find a way to live with the disease that you brought to me.
Yeah.
And now you are coming back 4 years later, you're saying you still love me. I was like, yo, sorry, Sissy. And he never spoke to me again.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You know, in some countries, that's actually a criminal offense. Because, because he obviously knew that he was HIV positive.
Yeah.
And then he didn't make it known to you. So he's robbed you of an HIV-free status. You know, you should have been in a position to decide whether you wanted to sleep with him without protection and put yourself at the risk of catching the disease instead of being given to it when all, you were trying to do was to be faithful.
Mhm.
Wow, I'm speechless.
Yeah, it has been something because
So you've not heard from him since now?
no, the last time I spoke with him was July 2022, and the day when I said you can't do that, and it disappeared, and that was it.
Sorry, I cut you off. You're about to say something as well.
No, I was saying that I struggled. I think one thing that you should have noticed about me and whole this thing is I take time to process things that are shocking. And even when the nurse told me about the status, I was okay with it. And I went and took the treatment the following day. I called my friend that evening, actually, after talking to Mike, who was like, she didn't believe me because of how calm I was when I was telling her about this. And for that year and 2019, I think that's when it started hitting me that something is not right. Because now I started being suicidal because I was diagnosed in October 2018. So it's August 2019. I am not okay mentally. I feel like I am dirty, Tinto. I would take like 3 baths in one day because I felt something was not right with me internally. And I just wanted to disappear in the world. And I changed provinces. Like, I was like, I think I just need to get out of this province and be on another one and start afresh and find myself and be okay with being alone so that I can actually have an opportunity to grow and reflect on the issues that I had. So I did it. I started therapy later in the years, and I am still busy with therapy even today.
Yeah. I must admit, the way that you sound, given what you've been through, especially now when you talk about contracting HIV, and I know where you're based, I know where you live, and that environment stigmatizes it quite a bit.
A lot.
A lot. And so for you to process that, to have thoughts about committing suicide, to have thoughts about how you were robbed of an HIV-free status, for a lot of people, it really would be a downward spiral. And I'm really happy you sound as confident as you do. And I remember when we initially got in touch and you said to me, Tinto, I've been thinking about telling my story, but you weren't quite sure when the moment was right. I'm glad you took your time.
Yeah.
Because it's been a few years since you've been processing doing this.
Yes.
I feel you needed to heal internally and also get the support that you needed from professionals, which you're getting now. And what you've just done reaffirms what I was hoping this podcast would do, which is to allow people to heal and then come and share their journeys once they've healed, because I'm so sure and confident that somebody listening to this can resonate with everything you've said today.
Yeah.
And if there were a point where they felt like they were losing hope, or they felt that there was no reason for them to either be alive and that this is the end of the tunnel, they have you as a point of reference.
Yeah. I hope someone...
I really hope so too. They have you as a point of reference, and it's also a sign that getting HIV is not a death wish.
No, it's not.
It doesn't mean that is the end of the road. There's medication which you're on to support you, and there's people who've lived for many years and they're still alive up until now with the right medication and eating right and living right. So it's not a death sentence. And people still have families and people still have children. So I'm really grateful more than anything for this story, Tiombe. It's blooming incredible.
Thank you.
So how would you describe where you are mentally with all of this and dealing with therapy for somebody who's listening to this? And what would you encourage them to do?
Now I am at a point where I am confident with myself, because I think that's one of the reasons that made me believe all the lies that I was told. I was never confident on myself. I never believed on myself. And I was scared of being alone because it meant for me that no one wanted me if I would be alone. But now I am content with myself. And therapy has also assisted me with being expressional about how I feel.
Yeah.
Yes. And what I would advise a person to do, which is very difficult, I know it's very difficult, to leave on the first sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to end up with something that you will regret at the end of the day. But if you find yourself being, for example, like me, where you are infected, just pick yourself up. There is support. You have your friends. If you can't talk to your family, there is a therapy. So something is there for you.
Man, I wish I could give you one big hug right now. Honestly.
Except the mutual one.
Yeah, because this is such an incredible story.
Yeah.
It really is such an incredible story. And I can't thank you enough for reaching out. Yeah, I guess there was something special because I responded quite quickly to it.
You did.
Yeah.
And I was shocked.
And in your head, you think you would have done this in a few weeks' time. But I'm really glad because now I got something to go and think about and just be grateful for everyone. I'm grateful for you for sharing this.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Tiombe. And for those who are patient enough to listen to this incredible episode right up until the end, the lessons that came out, number one was be kind to yourself and then leave in capitals. I'm just going to add something to that, Tiombe. I'm just going to say, be kind to yourself, leave at the first sign in caps, right? They are not going to change. Lesson number two, don't fall in love with the idea of someone. Fall in love with the reality. And this is exactly, I mean, Mike was just a serial cheater, left, right, and center. But I think he loves the idea of him because of what he presented himself to be right at the beginning, which is to be a person who affirms you. And he probably hit you with quite a bit of charm, and he gave you a lot of gifts that you appreciated. So he painted a picture of what he really wasn't. And then last but not least, be okay with being alone. You know, now this lesson, it really hits home.
Yeah.
Especially when earlier in the discussion we were talking about the difficulty you had with being on your own. You just had a fear of being alone.
Yes.
I think it's an incredible lesson. Be okay with being alone, because if you're okay with being alone, you avoid certain things that could be life-changing.
Yeah.
And then you add on to that by saying, learn to find peace in your own company. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. You guys have been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I will catch you in next weekend's episode.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Satis on Daro Raini and Chagis.
Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over.
Satis on Daro Raini and Chagis.
Let me talk about my feelings. Let me talk about my feelings, yeah.
Urudoi motor noto kujidziro amai.
Kujidziro amai. Love is a fire.
Urudoi motor noto kujidziro amai.